Okay, welcome everybody back to the Financial Advisors Workshop of 4-Star Wealth Advisors, a podcast series. We intend to do a great job interviewing people in our industry so we can all learn from each other about how to best run our business. So we run into some really interesting folks, people who started in the business, people who came later in the industry. And we met a gentleman, Doug Gjerde, up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And Doug is now runs an independent firm, and he's a late adherent to our industry, joining the industry at 45. So Doug, welcome to the Financial Advisors Workshop today.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Excellent. Well, we had an interesting discussion earlier, Doug, about how you got into the industry, and it was quite roundabout. So before we talk about our business and financial advisory and stocks and things like that, tell us your background before you got into the industry. Quite interesting.
Very roundabout. It makes sense to me, but not everybody.
Yeah.
I started out bachelor's degree in engineering and was working on that for a while and ended up switching in and moving into the Air Force. I flew at B-52s in the Air Force, did that for about 7 years and got my MBA while I was there, and got out and joined my brother-in-law's technology firm, software, and helped with marketing and sales there, grew the firm, and started having kids, and had always wanted to get into academia. So moved 10 years and worked in academia with small businesses and business development on that side of things. And really decided when I grew up, I wanted to do something, have my own business, and narrowed it down to this industry. And really was looking for ways to break in without the usual having to go and work for a big firm and be part of the spaghetti they throw against the wall to see if it sticks, and really didn't want to have to do cold calling and try to talk all my friends and relatives into becoming clients. So I ended up roundabout joining a friend who I knew that had already been in the industry for decades, joining him with the intention maybe I'd have my own firm someday, but really liked what he was doing and eventually bought the firm from him, and he's retired now. And now we're up to 7 people and keep him moving on.
Nice. And you were in the Air Force for a while, and you have an MBA?
Yes, almost 7 years, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What'd you do in the Air Force?
Good MBA on the government's dime through the GI Bill.
Nice. Well, great. So you got quite a background, and then you're at University of Wisconsin for a period of time, and then now you're in the business, and all that led to having a real broad background, lots of different experiences to be useful to clients, which is great.
Right. Yeah.
Great. So then you got into the business directly by joining your friend's firm. So how did that all evolve? You were about 80 million in size at that time, if I recall.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, part of it from his perspective, he'd always wanted to be alone, didn't want to manage people, stay, but he tried to tell all his clients, no more clients, don't send me referrals. And either they didn't listen or he didn't hold by it, and just everybody was telling him, you need some help, his wife and others, and clients wondering, what if you get run over by a bus, what happens? So
right.
After we talked a few times, he said he decided he was going to bring somebody on, and then we decided we were going to grow further, and eventually I was part of his succession plan, and he's retired now. I bought the business out, and now we've got 4 advisors and 3 other staff, and look very different from that time.
Right. So is your intention to continue to bring in more advisors too?
Yes, when it makes sense. Yeah, that's one thing. And
right.
we've actually, our newest, we call her an associate wealth advisor, but she's moved up through the firm from operations up to paraplanning, now associate wealth advisor. And I don't think it's going to be terribly long till she's a lead advisor down the road too.
That's great. That's great. Well, good. So you joined, and then you started buying out your partner, and then the firm was about 150 million, but now you're another 100 million or so beyond that from outside advisory and internal. Let's talk about that whole process and growth.
Yeah. So, well, my other partner was still with the firm. We added another advisor. We actually added two. One of them decided the industry wasn't for her, so we had to replace her in the middle of me buying my my friend out. So that was fun. But we realized the bigger we get in number of employees, the more we have to grow. So we really started looking at ways to grow and expand. And really what happened after a while is we realized we got to one of those sizes with employees, assets, people, where to get to the next level, we were really going to have to change things. That what got us there wasn't going to get us on. Moving on, so we felt we'd hit a plateau and really needed to look at the company, step back, and figure out what we needed to change to be able to scale going forward without hurting all the existing clients and service we had.
Nice. So so that you hit that plateau about 4 years ago, maybe?
Right. Yep. Right
So,
around there.
all right. So how did you change then? What did you do differently, and how has that worked out? And what do you see will happen from here?
Well, I think it's working well now. It's a process to go through of really reflecting and figuring out where we wanted to go. I probably colored it with my background in engineering and 7 years in the Air Force, where you live and die by checklists. I'm a real believer in systems and processes. And with a good business and clientele, we wanted to make sure nothing dropped between the cracks, that we were servicing, doing the right thing for clients through growth. So we really focused on getting our systems together. And I'm fiercely independent and love choice and freedom, but realized after a while, we went through 3 years of trying 3 different CRMs. We tried out a few portfolio management systems, reporting systems, thinking we'd find the right combination of things that made us more efficient, and realized it really wasn't that, but that we had a lot of different systems that didn't talk to each other. So my partners and I at the time, we really thought we're either going to have to break off from this broker dealer and form our own RIA and hire consultants and programmers to get us to where we want, or find an RIA that's already got this figured out, put the money in, and actually has all these systems talking together. So we looked at it both ways, and really we went under another RIA that had already figured it out, spent millions of dollars, and has the same philosophy. So being also one of those past careers was in software, and I really saw how difficult it is to try to create your own and maintain it versus off the shelf, top quality products. So I really wasn't excited about hiring somebody to tie a bunch of things together and be proprietary. So now we've gotten past that and have the good technology and are back in growth and scaling mode after a few years of hard work.
Good. Now, what kind of firm did you join?
We joined up with Carson Group, which a lot of people know Ron Carson. He's written a lot of books, started one of the, well-known coaching companies, and also has, been a top producer himself, figured it out along the way. So,
okay. So now Carson, I know Ron Carson, what do they do for you?
Really the biggest thing is they provide us the systems tying together through their platform. And it's really two-part. What I talked about is the internal side, so we can be more efficient. But part of it too is, I think the technology side is they've created what they call a data warehouse. So all that information for our clients that we used to have to enter into the custodial system, the financial planning system, the reporting system, starts from a warehouse and fills in those information. So when a client moves, something changes, we update one thing that updates all the things together. And the other nice thing with technology like it is we can provide our clients with what I call a single pane of glass, one login through our dashboard they log into. They can see their accounts directly from the custodian. They can click a couple things, run a performance over any time period without logging into something else. They can view their financial plan right in there without logging into that. And what we had before is if people wanted all that, they'd have 4, 5, 6 logins to do that. And this system is also interactive, so they can update their risk tolerance, risk profile in there. It updates all our stuff is saved. We actually save about the last 10 times they've done it. So internally, we can see a history of how their risk profiles changed over time. And there's a lot of things that are interactive. So they get in, update things. We know that they have, it updates our system and makes it efficient. And I think they really like not having to remember 5 or 6 logins to be able to go to one place and see all of that and get it together.
Nice. So do they incent you to grow as well? Do they give you support and help to grow?
Yeah, there's a whole marketing team there, which helps us with our marketing plan, and they can help us with digital marketing, support in different ways. They actually manage our website, help us with our weekly email newsletter and different communications with clients. So really provide, and what I liked there when I talked to their marketing team, I've been in marketing too many years, and a lot of people have ideas on how things should go and what we should be doing. And theirs is all data driven. Everything is what I learned as an MBA, A and B comparisons, really looking at what works and honing in, and they help us really test that. So it's not the old try a bunch of things and see what happens. We really have the data behind it, which as a numbers guy, I like.
Yeah, nice. Well, good. So tell us about your growth now. Now that you have set up, how is that looking? Where do you see the growth coming from?
I think like probably we hear so much from people in our industry. Number one is referrals. I think we've gotten better at that over the last few years, primarily because we've not just perfected our kind of in-office client experience, but that external kind of electronic experience people like, but also developed how we can communicate and show clients the value that we're providing to them. You know, we're a full financial planning firm. My background is really heavy into tax planning and that side of things. I've, a master elite IRA advisor with the Ed Slot program. So that's really something I emphasize. And I think we're better the last few years of just explaining the value and showing that, which helps.
Yeah.
Also do workshops and a lot of involvement in the community that is part of that marketing too.
Nice. So tell us about the Master Elite program. Where's that housed from?
That's something I've been in for a while. For me, it actually started because I am kind of a tax geek. While I was getting my MBA, I took a lot of extra classes and was, I think, 2 classes short of being able to sit for the CPA. decided I didn't want to do that, but it helped out. In between all those things I explained, I actually owned a tax prep business for a while. So actually taught people how to prepare taxes. But what we do here isn't anything with tax prep. It's really the tax planning. So I found the slot program really giving me a deep level of knowledge and expertise, skills, and confidence. So I love do a lot of teaching of taxes in retirement workshops, and I love the Q&A portion because I feel like with what I get from the master elite that I can answer any question or know where to get the answer and can get back to them quickly. So I think being able to project that expertise and confidence in a workshop really helps out.
That's key.
Yeah.
That's key. Well, great. So you've seen a lot in the industry. You've got a really interesting background with lots of knowledge in other areas, and you've applied a lot of that in the data-driven approach. You've hooked up with a firm that provides a lot of that real structure.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the rest of your growth coming from? From just the same things you're talking about, or will it be acquisition? Will it be more advisor?
We are working on inorganic growth, looking for the right advisors that really have struggled with the same things we can help out with and maybe integrate them as part of the practice. What I've seen in my years is you can't bring on too many advisors because they have to have all that support underneath there. So we either have to have excess capacity on the support side, operations, or find advisors that have a great staff that we can bring their staff and get them over too. So it's really from that side, a lot of work of just finding that cultural fit and the right set of people, which isn't exactly easy.
Right. So you're going to be very selective.
Right.
Yeah. So very interesting. So you've seen a lot of trends now, and then you reacted to some of the data-driven trends in our industry. If you had to tell our colleagues, like what you see for the industry coming up, what would you like to tell the industry? Since a lot of people see this all over the country.
Yeah. From my perspective and what we see, we hear a lot about how there's going to be fee compression, especially when robo-advisors hit and everything. What I really see for the smaller advisors we talk to and where we were, it's really service expectations or really compression that it used to be easy to just be an investment advisor and, manage people's investments. But now with the large RIAs we're competing with, you've got to be able to give great tax advice, have people that can help you with that, estate planning, retirement planning, and you can't be a small company and deliver that all well. So it's how you're going to partner with or provide that, I think, is one of the challenges. And that's what we see a lot of the smaller independent advisors struggling. How do I compete with somebody that has an in-house trust department, that has CPAs and attorneys on staff to help out with that? And that's what I see coming, that for the smaller companies is, we're expected, it's just like, cut down on employees with a big employer. We need you to do more with less. Well,
right.
How's that single advisor going to be an expert in estate planning and taxes and everything, not just investments? And
it's going to be hard to get through all that. Yeah. So it's a scale game, and you think the parts of the larger firms that have more scale will compete better.
Right.
Yeah.
Somehow they've got to have it, I
mean, you're set
can't
up.
afford to have an attorney on staff and a CPA and everything else at this point. So how do we get those services to our clients in an integrated way where we know that they're, getting the right advice and it's not taking them in another direction. That's a real challenge.
And there's risk if someone else is doing services for your client. There's risk
Right.
of account, right? Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Well, great. Well, this has been fun, Doug. You sound like you have a great practice, great business, and we'll see how things develop, and maybe we'll do a follow-up in a year or so and see where you guys are. And now with the new technology platforms and the new focus on growth through that, it should be a great decade for you guys.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, great. Well, great to meet you, and
Nice to meet you.
we'll leave it there, Doug. And congratulations on all your growth and your transition into the industry. And thanks for being there. And everybody, thanks for being with us today on the Financial Advisors Workshop. So Doug's a great example of a practitioner who understands our business well, serves his clients well, developing a growth model. It's really fun stuff to do, and it's a great business. So thanks everybody for being with us. Thank you, Doug. And
Thank you.
we'll be back again with another interview with another great person in our industry, just like Doug. Thanks, everybody.